Video walkthrough on a Mesa Ridge. First things first, you are pre-wired for a backup camera. This does not come with a backup camera, but you are pre-wired for one. If you choose to have us install one, we can definitely do that. It's pretty simple to do. If you wanted to buy it and do it yourself, you could. It does pull power from these marker lights right here, so the running lights on your truck need to be on. And that'll turn the camera on, then you just turn the screen on in your truck and you should be good to go. It's perfect for backing in. If you don't have someone to spot for you, and it's good, you can have it set so it's always on when you're towing down the road, because some people like to tailgate you because you're big and you'll block the wind, save some gas mileage. So that'll keep you from getting in any accidents too. You have your water hookup right here. Very easy to use. I like these. You have a little hold open right here for it. Hook your hose up to here. If that valve is like in that position, you'll be using city water. If you turn it to tank fill, you'll fill your onboard tank, and then you run from your pump to fill if you're going to use your tank. You do have a spray port, quick disconnect, and we'll show you that where that is as we continue along. And then you do have a right there black tank flush. So as you're dumping your black tank, you can hook a hose up to there, and there's a little nozzle in there that kind of sprays it out. That'll keep everything running good and keep the sensors clean and keep it from smelling. And then over there you have a satellite or cable hookup. If you did go somewhere that provides cable, you can hook it up to there. The nice thing about these is you can take these little tabs right here, pivot them out of the way, and then you can have your hose hooked up to there. Oops. Let's see if you can have your hose hooked up. It keeps it neat, tucked in tidy. Same thing with your cable if you had it hooked to there. Very simple. Bumper caps, these do come off. You just squeeze them right here, pull them off. When they're new, they start to get stiff. As you use them, taking them on and off, they'll come out a lot easier. That'll be the perfect spot to store your sewer hose. That's why they make them that way. That's why they put caps on the bumpers instead of welding them shut on the ends. That'd be the best spot for your sewer hose. Got your black tank right here. So you get your handle for your black tank. So when you're dumping, you hook your hose up to here. That's your black tank. And then your gray tank, I believe, is up front. They might actually... Nope. Yep. So you got... This will be a black tank. And you have two more here. So you have two gray tanks in this. So one will be a galley, and then one will be a... So this one will be your galley. So that'll be like your kitchen sink. And then this one will be gray for your bathroom, and this will be black for your bathroom. You can tell because the gray tank had gray handles. So I always recommend dumping your black first, hooking your hose up there, pulling it, dumping your black, letting that get all the way empty, then dumping your gray. That's going to flush out the hose. That way you don't have to carry around like a hose filled with black tank water. Let's get this cap on for you. And I always recommend when your cap's on, making sure that these are closed before you take the cap off, because if they're open a little bit, it'll fill this section of pipe with fluid, and then when you take the cap off, that fluid's got to go somewhere, and you don't want that on you. Your slide seals, every once in a while, you are going to want to inspect them, make sure they're not dry, cracked, or anything like that. Well, if you start to see they are getting that way, definitely recommend taking it in to do slide out maintenance. You can do it yourself if you wanted to. We sell the supplies for it. What we do is we clean these, and then we spray on a seal conditioner, and then we spray dry lube on the rails right there. Moving along, you have your vents for your fridge. That's just for airflow. So keep them clean in here, clean up in there. Same with both of them. You can even pop them off. Give these a quarter of a turn, pop it off, and clean back there if you like. This is just a hose to drain for condensation. Yeah. You got stabilizer jacks, all four corners, look just like that one. You have a crank for it in there. It is a 3/4 inch socket if you do want to run a drill on it. I don't recommend using an impact with a 3/4, but a drill with one of those adapters allows them to go good. If you are going to use a drill, lubricate them way more often than you normally would. You do want to lubricate the rods. There's a threaded rod that goes there. Lubricate that often. WD-40 or PD Blaster works to keep it lubricated. Or even some of that white lithium works too. I just would try to use stuff that's not like super sticky so it doesn't attract dirt. That way, if you're using a drill, it gets hotter, so you want to lubricate it more often. Got good information here. Cargo carrying capacity there. Your VIN. A full load of water equals 399 pounds. So that's included in your cargo carrying capacity. So you would subtract this from that, and that's how much you would be able to get. If you had all your tanks full and everything like that, you have that remaining amount. And then good information here. Tire pressure, 65 PSI. That's what you want to fill them to. And then tire sizes, if you want to order a new tire. This is that sprayer I was talking about. Has a little hose on the end of it. It quick disconnects to that thing outside, and then you have hot and cold out there, which is nice. Group 24 battery is a new battery. In the winter, I recommend taking your battery completely out, storing it in your basement or your garage. Some are warmer than being outside. Winter is harsh on these batteries. And then, if there's going to be an extended period of times between trips, I definitely recommend disconnecting and then negative lead off your battery. That's going to keep anything from using off your battery when you're not around. Do have propane in here. It's easier to show by taking this cover off, but you don't have to take it off to use it. You can just pop this off, unscrew these, pivot them to the side, and this will flop up. Dual 30-pound cylinders. They are full. We have them off now. We'll leave them off. Well, we'll turn them off for now. They are full. We did fill them. You do have a regulator right here, so if you can see, it's kind of hard to see. There's an arrow on this. It's pointing right here. It's going to pull from this tank first. Once this tank is depleted, it'll pull from that one. If they were both on. However, this doesn't move. This won't. When it switches from pulling from this tank to this one, this won't move, indicating it has done so. What I do with mine is I have one off. I'll have this one on. It doesn't matter which one. I'll have whichever one this is pointing to on, and the other one off. That way, if I'm cooking on the stove, or I've got my furnace on, if I notice the gas is starting to get low, or the burner's starting to get low, I know I'm out of gas. I'll have to come out here, turn this one on. I'll turn this one off, and then I'll physically switch it over. That way, I have in the back of my mind, hey, this tank's empty. It's time to go take it in to get it filled. And the reason I do that is because if it switches to this tank, and then this tank ends up being halfway empty, I could still think I'm running off of this tank, and then all of a sudden I'm completely out of propane. So that's going to keep me from running out of propane in the middle of somewhere where I need it. Power tongue jack with a light. That definitely helps hooking up at night. Raise and lower. And that beats hand cranking every day of the week. You do have a fuse in here. So if you end up overextending your jack and it trips that fuse, you just replace it in there. You got your 7-way, your chains, and your breakaway. That's hooked to a little box underneath there, right there. That'll pull a pin out of there. If your trailer would ever get unhooked from your truck, it'll activate the brakes on the trailer, keep everybody safe. Moving right along. Other side of that storage compartment, there we have that crank for those stabilizers, and this is a backup crank for your tongue jack. If you saw, pop this rubber plug out of there. There's a little nut in there. You can raise and lower your tongue jack manually. And then you do have a light on this side too. Very nice. And then you are partially set up for solar, so you'd have to buy the kit. It is the Zamp solar kit. It comes with the panels and all this stuff you need. You just plug it in there, and that just trickle charges your battery using solar power, which is nice. Water heater, super simple to use. So this is all set up to be used when you're ready to go. All you got to do is put your plug in. So this is a 15/16 socket. That's the size. Get it started by hand. It goes in there as much as you can by hand. Then I use a socket with an extension and a ratcheting wrench. It's way easier. We do sell a tool. You can buy a tool. It's more like a box end wrench, and you have to get in there like that. It's kind of a pain in the butt because all this is in the way. So that's why I use a socket. Once you have that in there, you can, when you hook up water, turn it on, it'll start filling the tank automatically, and then you'll be able to kick it on from the inside. And then you, yeah, very simple. Keep it clean in here, clean in there, clean in there. Excuse me. Sorry. Like I said, keep it clean in here and here. You'll notice if it's not getting clean, you'll start seeing like soot build up here. It'll start here and on the white stuff there. That's when you know you need it clean. If you have those computer dusters or even compressed air, just blow it out here. Whatever you blow in here is going to come out there, so don't stay in here, because if there's like soot in there, you'll get it right in your face. If it gets real bad and you never clean it and the flame gets up and touches this and trips this thermal fuse, your water heater will never turn on. You'll have to get that fixed. And then the last little thing is drain it after every trip. You don't want to leave any water sitting there, it starts to get stagnant. So before you drain it, before you pull your plug out, crack your pressure relief. It'll stay open like that. Water will sputter out. Everything is okay to get wet. Don't worry about it getting wet. Once it stops coming out, snap it closed. And that's why you want to snap this closed. You don't want to rest it closed. It creates the right seal by snapping it. Then you'll be able to take your plug out and let the water drain out. If you neglect to do this, you're going to get a hot bath, and it's going to be no fun. So as I saw on the back, that valve I was telling you was city and then tank fill. You also have another tank fill over here, it seems. This is your gravity fill, so you can hook your hose up to, you don't hook it up to there, you just rest it in there. Turn your hose on, it'll fill up your tank. And your drain for it should be, that's your drain for your fresh tank right there. Outdoor power, it's GFCI protected. All your GFCIs are on the same circuit. If one were to trip, they're all going to trip. You do have, this is your exterior range vent, so if you can see in there, see if we can focus a little bit. There's this little panel you can open up. Open that up when you are using your range vent. That's going to allow the air to actually escape somewhere. But when you're traveling and when you're storing it, make sure it gets snap closed. Exhaust for your furnace, self-explanatory. It gets hot. Keep it clean in here, just like all the other appliances. They do make screens for these. If you're, they don't recommend you run it with the screen on. It just restricts airflow, because if air's got to come in, it's got to come out the same amount. But it's good for storage and travel. Travel, so it keeps road debris out of there. Storage, it'll keep insects and building nests in there. Ours at home, we didn't have a screen in ours one year, and we had a couple bees nests in there. And that's pretty much it for the exterior. There's a few more things. There are your sealant around all these fixtures. On anything with a silicone sealant on it is warranted through us for 90 days. After that, it's on you guys to take care of it. So if in a year and a half you see you got gaps in your sealant, if you try to take it in and try to get it warranted, it won't get warranted, because it's only 90 days for sealant. And then your roof's got a warranty too. The only way to keep the warranty on your roof is regular maintenance. So that involves going up there every once in a while and just inspecting your roof. Alright, we'll go back in here. We'll start right here. Got your controls for your slide out, controls for your awning, extend and retract. Your awning unfortunately won't go all the way open, but we'll go open as much as we can. When you see the bare tube, and the tube will be black, and then you see the flap, there's a little decorative flap that flips over, then you're all the way open. It does not automatically stop. If you kept holding it extend, it'll eventually roll back in, because the tube's rolling the same direction, but then now the fabric's going to wrap the wrong way around the tube. They are adjustable. You can grab here, pull it down. It'll pitch off water to one end on the side rather than running all the way down the edge if it's raining. If it's storming, high gust of winds, roll your awning in. You don't want the wind to rip it off. Excuse me. And then if you roll it in wet, as soon as it gets dry, roll it back out, let it dry outside. Sorry, dry and more sunny outside. As soon as it gets to that, roll your awning back out, let the water dry off. If you roll it up with water in it and you let it sit for a month, next time you roll it out, it's gonna kind of be smelly and you're gonna see streaks in it. Controls for your slide, but make sure you latch it. Can outlet over there. Nice big, spacious couch. Little sectional. You do have, I believe, some storage underneath here. Yup. Plenty of room. Plenty of places to sit. I do believe this turns into a couch. Yep. So you take these back cushions, turns into a bed rather, take these back cushions off, set them aside. This whole part lifts up. You see the legs underneath there? It's kind of hard to do with, well, recording with one hand. But it'll lift up, you pull the legs out, it'll rest out there. And then this back part will pivot down to create a nice platform. You can sleep one, maybe two people, two smaller people. Over here, spot for a TV. If you're going to hook it up to there, you're running through your cable. If you have your portable satellite hooked up outside, you want it through there. If you're going to use your antenna, make sure this light is on. If you're using cable, make sure it's off. It's even a little chart there. Power for it. You can hook your TV up to there. That'll be audio from the TV going to your sound bar. You do have a remote for your sound bar. I believe, yep. You have volume, turn the channels and all that. You have different zones, so Zone A is inside, and then Zone B is outside. So outside is, nope, maybe you just have Zone A. Yep, you have Zone B. Zone B is the outside speakers. Your outside speakers are built under the end of your awning arms. Then you have a tuner. You can use this to tune through channels. You have USB, auxiliary in, and then you have Bluetooth. You can Bluetooth your phone to it. Very simple. Move on, microwave. Only works when you're plugged in. Other than that, it's just like your microwave at home. Get your light for over here. Fan, like I was showing you outside. If you're running this fan, make sure you have that flap on the other outside open. Folding glass cooktop. That's going to act as your backsplash. And then these are very easy to use. Turn it to the flame right here. Turn it to light it. We're going to bleed all the gas out of the lines. You'll see the flame start to come down in a little bit. Oh, we still might have a tank on. You can turn them all to light if you want. Light them all at once. And then you have a light here, which turns the lights on the knobs, which I really like. And then it also turns your oven light on. To use your ovens a little bit differently, you have to turn this to this little flame here. That's your pilot. Push and hold. You can see there's a pilot in there, and you can see as I turn the sparker, sparks that. The old school ones, it wasn't a sparker. You'd have to reach in there with a lighter as you were pushing and hold that. But you would push to this flame, push and hold, turn your sparker to that pilot's lit. Once the pilot's lit, then you would turn it to whatever temperature you wanted it at. If you know you were going to use it again in a few hours, you can, when you turn it off, if you turn it to the flame, it shuts your burners off but leaves the pilot on. Outlets here, plenty of outlets there. Got a light above your sink. Sink's very easy to use. The sink. Thermostat, so you tap it to go through your modes. So the first thing I'm going to ask if you want auto, high, or low. High or low is just going to leave it, whatever you have on. It won't cycle on and off to regulate its temperature. I just recommend using auto. Hit it again. You get the AC. Your AC goes all the way down to 55. Let's see if we can tap it. These are more like a touch screen. This is no physical buttons. And then you hit it again. Mode power again. Goes to your AC, and your AC goes to 90. Not AC, rather. Furnace. Hit it again. Turns it off. And then my only thing I like to tell people about these Dometic ones, these can be a little finicky. If you accidentally hit up and down at the same time, it switches it to Celsius. Hit up and down again. Turns it back to Fahrenheit. Unless you want it to be in Celsius. Got a smoke alarm right here. It uses 9-volt batteries, just like your ones at home. If it starts getting low voltage trips, it's time to throw a new battery in there. Other safety appliances, you have a propane and a carbon monoxide alarm right there. That's hardwired to the 12-volt system. There's no batteries you have to worry about changing. Then you have your breaker box. All your breakers for your 110 volt appliances. All your fuses for your 12 volts. So if you see what fuses you have right there, definitely recommend keeping a box of spare fuses. Rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Let's see if we can't find your little blue little book of manuals right there. That book's gonna have all your manuals in there. The manual for the unit itself is usually they just throw in a general, a very broad manual, so it's not gonna be this unit specific, but it'll definitely cover up a lot of things. Got a light switch for above the bed. The light in here you just turn on the fixture itself. There's no like switch for it or anything. All at either side of the bed. Spot to mount a TV right here. It says right here, backer location. That's where you're going to want to put your TV mount. If you buy a mount from here, or from Walmart, look at how long your screws are. Because if you use too long of a screw and screw to the outside of the camper, that's not a warranty thing. That would be something you would have to pay to get fixed. So always watch your screws. It's good to see the windows underneath there so you can get an idea about how thick your walls are. Then you have a cable outlet and then power for it right there. Bedroom door works very similar to your bathroom door. This one does not actually have a lock to lock it closed, but you can unsnap it here, snap it there to keep it stored out of the way, use it as a handle. And you got lots of privacy in here now. Just like that. Your bed, got some storage underneath there. Hard to lift up with one hand, but you got storage underneath there. And then you have an emergency exit here. Very easy to use. Lift up. You can use that as a regular window like that. If it was an emergency, you would push this all the way out till it was free swinging out there. Grab this, pull this screen out, and then jump out the window. Back to your fridge. Super simple. On or off. So all the way in like that is on. So if it's out like that, see, you have auto. Auto is going to default to 110. So it's the AC. It's telling you it's running on AC. If someone were to trip over your cord or the campground were to lose power, this will switch to running off of propane if your propane were to be on, and it'll tell you it'll be running off of gas. If this still check light comes on, more than likely your propane hasn't actually reached your fridge yet, so you might have to give it some time. And then you have a temperature setting here, all the way 1 to 5. Very simple to use. These do take about something this side would take about anywhere from 8 to 10 hours to get to its operating temperature. So don't go to the campground, plug it in, and think, all right, you'll be able to use your fridge in a few hours. You have to give it almost half a day, 8 hours before it's at its correct operating temperature. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the interior tour. There's maybe a few more things we need to cover. Your AC right here. If it's like this, if it's this closed, it's going to vent out through all of these vents. But if you want to hog the AC, you can open it right here. It'll dump it all out right here. Yeah, that pretty much concludes the interior tour of your Mesa Ridge.